a year ago, you were in the top 10 of the finalists who won. So how much did you get in terms of dollars, by the way?
100,000.
You got $100,000.
Yeah.
And how did you win the prize? Just give me a quick overview of this. How did you get to be part of the top 10 finalists? What kind of business do you do?
Okay, so my name is Prince Agbata. I'm the country director for Coliba. We are a plastic recycling company that is based out at, we have our factory in Sawomen. What we do is we collect plastics.
Okay.
We have collection centers across the country in Greater Accra region, Central region, and also recently in Kumasi. So these centers are where you find us on our app or on a map. You go there, drop off your plastic, we pay for it. It comes to our centers to recycle it. So the African Business Heroes Award is an award that is designed for entrepreneurs that are doing amazing stuff, creating jobs and solving problems. We applied. How did we get to know about it? It was through a program that was called the Acumen. So Acumen Fellowship Program that shared it through that network to me, and then we applied. We put in the application, we went through. It was a tough process. It's usually a 1-year program, and at the end of it, which is by November of every year, you are awarded. So,
so over 21,000 entrepreneurs applied for this grant, and you were shortlisted in the top 10.
Yes,
so this is the whole of Africa.
Yes, on the whole of
wow.
Africa.
So your business model basically solves the plastic pollution problem and also does recycling.
Yes. So we collect, we incentivize, we recycle.
Where do you get this idea to start up the company? Where did the idea of Coliba come from?
Yeah, so proud to working with Coliba. I was a software engineer with Google. I had attended Ghana Telecom University. And you know the 3rd June flood disaster, if you were in 2015, I lost my best friend to that disaster. And the cause of that was because of the donor and the main drainage system choked with waste. And most of the waste were plastic waste.
Wow.
So that event and the loss of my friend led me to start doing my first cleanup, which is to recover. Because in June, July is a rainy season.
Yeah.
People would distill the gutters, leave it there. The rains wash them back in. We started collecting the plastics. We started recycling. With time, we have built a recycling company that is recycling across the country.
So plastic is a major issue, as you've said. What are your thoughts around how Ghanaians can get involved in addressing the plastic menace generally?
I think it starts with segregating our waste. And one thing we are doing at Coliba is to making sure that communities, our goal is to make sure all of the regions and districts have a recycling center. We're working with Mesty to make that happen. And we will have to start by segregating our waste. And when you segregate the waste, the question then is, where do I recycle, right? And also working with key players to ensure that recycling services are available. So segregate your waste. Go on Google Map, find out the Coliba buyback centers near you. You will see the closest location. There is La Paz, there is Dakuma, there is Achimota, wherever you are. You drop it off. We pick them up. In fact, we incentivize you by cash. We collect the plastics and then we fully recycle them.
How will we know the center? Is it branded in any specific way? And what kind of plastic can we bring to the place?
All forms of plastics. So
all forms of plastic.
Bottles to broken chairs to even slippers.
Everything.
Everything.
And the Coliba centers, what color? How are they identified?
So shipping containers. Recycle shipping containers that are painted, and it's very obvious.
That's a Coliba center.
That's a Coliba center. So you just go on Google Map and you type recycling center near you. It all pops up.
And is this just in Accra or all over the country?
Central region, Greater Accra, and Kumasi.
So 3 regions for now.
Yes.
Now, what apart from the money you got at $10,000, what else did you benefit from taking part in the ABH initiative?
It's 100,000.
Sorry, $100,000. Forgive me, $100,000. Wow.
I think it's mentorship. For us, it's mentorship and the network of entrepreneurs. So some of the entrepreneurs I connected with are from various parts of Africa, Egypt, to South Africa, to even West Africa here. So the network has always been strong in terms of trying to explore scaling to other countries. The second one is the mentors. So I'm still connected with one of the mentors that took me through the round 2 process. Amazing guy from Mauritius. And I mean, the mentorship is amazing. And I think it's a lifelong journey. So it means after the award, they don't just leave you to dry. There's always consistent webinars and mentorship and assistance along the way. And for instance, media support as well. So
the ABH grant is ongoing for another 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. I know a lot of Ghanaian startups that are struggling to get a network, struggling for money, struggling for markets, struggling for technology. So how can they benefit from the ongoing or upcoming edition? What do they need to know so that they can get into this very, very rich network that Jack Ma has begun?
Well, Jack Ma is out there to recognize heroes. And I think heroes, not all heroes wear capes, we say. And I think there are so many entrepreneurs out there in Ghana that are doing amazing things. What the entrepreneurship is, what the award is looking for is people who are solving problems. And at least they have some revenues coming in. So it means that it doesn't have to be an idea stage business. You should be making revenue and solving problems. And be able to tell a story. What is making your story unique? How many jobs are you creating? And so I would encourage every young Ghanaian. I think it's important more Ghanaians apply because Ghanaians are not really applying as much as possible. So I would encourage
So they mustn't necessarily be environmental businesses. They can be businesses doing anything.
Every sector. It's sector agnostic.
But what I sense about your business is that it has a social... So your business is a social enterprise because even though there is some revenue to be made, you're actually solving a big environmental problem. You're also doing recycling. So what's your advice to businesses in terms of, if you want to benefit from such things, to what extent must my offering have a social dimension?
Well, I think every business has a social dimension. It depends on the story you tell. So even if I'm running a bank and I'm giving credit line to people, I can tell a story. Who are these people that I'm giving credit line to? How is my credit line supporting them? So I think whatever business you're running, there is a social impact part of it. Look at the people that are your customers. Look at your suppliers, and then profile them and find out how are you really impacting them. Wonderful. And tell a story with that sort of impact. And I think that's what Jack Ma is looking for.
So what are your plans? You are already benefiting from a lot of things, but you are in 3 regions, right? What's your vision for the next 5 years? Where will we see Coliba?
So we're scaling. We're going as fast as possible. The plan is to scale to other regions and be in all regions of Ghana by 2025. But even more importantly, concurrently enter other markets. So we're exploring Burkina Faso. We were importing even waste from Burkina Faso until the situation came in. So we're looking to expand to Togo, Benin, and other countries. But for now, short-term, low-hanging fruit is to scale across other regions as well.
We're still talking to the CEO of Coliba Waste Management, and his company is doing some very interesting things. They are deepening the recycling culture. There are recycle centers across at least 3 regions where you can send plastic waste, it will be recycled, and you will get something for it. Prince Agbata is my guest. Let's talk about the plans you have to build the recycling park. I understand you're working to build the largest recycling park in West Africa. Tell me more about this and how you plan to achieve this goal.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The recycling park idea is to build an ecosystem. So we have a huge recycling park or close to Sawem, Domfase. And this is where all of our plastics come in there. I think we're doing about 600 to 700 metric tons of plastics every day. So the goal is to see how we can ensure that this plastic pack is replicated across every region. So every region has a recycling pack.
Wow. One region, one pack.
Yes, one region, one pack.
That's amazing.
The goal. The second part is also we are working with the government of Freetown, which is Sierra Leone, to ensure that Sierra Leone currently export, or there is really no recycling happening in Sierra Leone. So our goal is to
They export all their plastic waste.
They take it to Guinea. So Guinea is about 5 hours drive from Freetown. And so the goal is to see how we can also help set up in Freetown and also recycle with the people of Freetown. So that's the goal.
So are you going to raise funding for the first one, the park, or there's already funding available?
The park we have is already funded and running.
Wonderful.
Then there's other parks we're running. Is also we're looking at raising funding for it. Either we are self-funding it, but even with our buyback centers, it's more like a franchise model. So if you're here, you want to have a center in other regions like Tamale, we're happy to have a conversation and help you set.
Do you work with assemblies, or this is really on your own?
We work with assemblies. For instance, in Kumasi, we work with the Asokwa Municipal Assembly. In Accra, some of the districts, we work with the assembly members. They give us a land to set up these centers. So there's a level of partnership with traditional authorities and then the municipal authorities as well.
But this seems so obvious and so necessary. Why isn't it being done across the country?
That's a very interesting question. I don't know.
And not by you. I'm not even saying like by you, because you've done 3 regions. You are just a small company, right? Like, you've traveled abroad. You've seen in advanced countries. Look, your refuse. There's 3 refuse boxes. One is for plastic. One is for whatever. It's very clear. It's ingrained. So this is something that's supposed to be done. But it seems like in Ghana, we talk about it, but it's not really happening. The company comes and collects all the bola, and the guys put the bola in a bubu, they mix everything up.
I think it's a policy issue. It's a policy issue that needs to be addressed. And I think, look, recycling was just 2% when we came into the market. Now recycling rate is around 12%. So we're making some progress, but we still have a long way to go. And it has to do with policy. And I think there's a lot in the pipeline that is going on in terms of EPR, extended producer responsibility. And we're hoping we'll see some progress from 2025.
Share some business advice to listeners. How long have you been in business, by the way?
More than half a decade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So share some business advice with us and just some of the lessons you learned on the journey.
I think what I'll say, it can be a lonely road. There are going to be tough times and low times as an entrepreneur. But what I will always say, it's you need to hold on. And if you need to, at least, I was saying something that you need at least 5 years of your life to know if a business will work or not.
At least 5 years?
At least 5 years. So
to know if a business will work or not.
Exactly. If you survive in the first 5 years, then there is something in there that your business has. So keep going. For those of you who are less than 5 years, be ready to go. And those of you who've extended 5 years, keep going. It's not an easy journey, but it's worth it. It pays. It's not a shortcut. So that's all I can say in terms of business.
Wonderful. Thank you, Prince, for talking to us. Prince Agbata is a co-founder of Coliba. He's also the country director. They are into plastic collection and recycling. And they have done this in 3 regions. They are building a major plastic recycling park in the West African sub-region. They are working in other countries like Sierra Leone to get recycling off the ground. And they have benefited from $100,000 from the Jack Ma Foundation's Africa's Business Heroes program. And he's urging other entrepreneurs to get on board. So is there like a website if people want to be part of ABH? How do they know?
Just go on Google, African Business Heroes Awards, African Business Heroes. It opens again, I think, the latter part of this year. So
whatever business you're in, get in.
Every business, from farming to tech to every sector, is sector agnostic. And
must you be young? Is there an age limit?
I think there's an age limit. Yes, obviously it shouldn't be more than 35, I guess.
So below 35 and below.
So below 35.
That's a good starting
all
point.
sectors. So please apply. I'm happy to connect. We always have sections where we take you through the application and advise as to what is expected in terms of application proceedings. So please apply.
Thank you very much, Prince.